Hi, everybody. At Skating PJ, otherwise known as PJ Kwong, here with another town hall with Skate Ontario. Oh my goodness, we have so much good news to share. And along for the ride to share it with me is our executive director, Lisa Alexander. Lisa, thank you so much for joining me.
I'm so happy to be here today, PJ. This is my favorite town hall so far.
Yours and mine both. Let's just say we've all suffered from a little bit of whiplash from all of the changes in rules and regulations along the way. But this is a particularly special week. And that is because we're going to talk about, wait for it, step 3. Hooray! Yeah, exactly. So, Lisa, let's talk a little bit about step 3. What does that even mean? And it comes into effect sort of midnight tonight, which is Thursday.
That's right. That's right. And the great news about this step is that this is a return to indoor sport. So that's us. Here we go. Skaters on the ice at all levels starting tomorrow. So, this is the news that we have absolutely been waiting for.
There have been so many different sort of region to region, rink to rink. There have been so many, all of the communities in Ontario, hats off to you because you've been trying to keep everybody safe. And Ontario, we're doing it. People are doing very, very well. And the numbers for the pandemic are coming down, which is why we're going into step 3 much more quickly. How do you feel about it? And should people feel confident in these new rules?
Yes, I feel great about it. And that is based on our track record. We have had, you called it whiplash, right? Like we've been on, we've been off, we've been back, we've been forward. Sport was allowed first last spring and we've been held back more this time. So, that lack of consistency is, of course, frustrating for the community. But the reason I feel confident is our excellent, proven track record. We have a lot of experience in our programs. Our return to play protocols, they're proven at this point. So yeah, very excited about getting back.
You and I talked about the fact that Skate Ontario did an outstanding job in terms of our province with leading the way and making sure that all of our athletes stayed safe. So let's talk a little bit about some of the particulars from step 3. What kinds of programs are allowed? And I just want to remind our audience that, if you've got comments, if you've got questions, just put them in the chat and we will get to you as quickly as we can. But Lisa, how about you just sort of outline for us what's happening?
Well, this time this is our easiest to explain so far. All programs are back. Programs are back. Yeah.
So does this mean we've got one great question from Siobhan Crowley already, and that is, let me just get it for you. Can we have dance partners for tests?
Absolutely, yes. So the way the rules work this time is all skaters at all levels, sport is able to return, and while you are actually participating in your sport, so while you are on the ice skating or off the ice doing a class, actually physically doing the sport, there are not restrictions to practicing your sport. So you're able to remove your mask, you are able to forego distancing. So this means synchro, yes, dance partners, yes, pairs partners, yes.
Tell me what this means in terms of numbers of people. We've spent so much time with our gloves off, counting on fingers of both hands, how many humans. What does this mean as far as coaches in the count, as far as skaters on the ice? Tell me what this all means.
So the provincial regulations call for a capacity limit. Okay. So the indoor training is governed by the size of the facility. So the facility is allowed to put in up to 50% of their regular capacity. So for us, that's a lot of skaters on the ice. So we don't have that same restriction that we've had in the past of, be it 10 people or 25 people. It's based on capacity of the facility. My only caveat to that is that we have already heard, of course, that some of the municipalities are trying to be careful and are putting forward specific numbers for their facility. So my only caveat there is you still do have to talk to your facility and your local public health unit, because they do have the right, they have the authority to make a number. Yeah.
This is a great question from Krista Ann, who wants to know if we're now allowed to be more hands-on with CanSkate. CanSkate is, having been a CanSkate coach for about a gazillion years, is extremely hands-on. So where are we at with that?
Yes, as long as we are actively participating, hands-on for CanSkate. We've had questions about that, and also about pre-can. And all levels of CanSkate, including pre-can, are allowed to go. Oh, I see. Look, I'm powers. I knew the next question was coming. Yeah.
And here's more pre-can stuff that we were talking about. So that is information that's very helpful to people. Koo has a great question, and that is, Synchro, are they able to hold on to each other and no masks on the ice?
Yes. Again, while they are skating. So the way it's been explained to us is, picture yourself, it's a little bit of, might be mask on, mask off, right?
Yep.
Because, while you are entering the ice, while you are standing there talking, in most cases, the coaches, unless they are actively on the ice skating around, they should be wearing masks. So the general rule for masking and contact is, as long as you are skating, you can take off the mask and have contact, no matter what the discipline.
Now, this next question from MK McDougall, another well-known coach, is a bit of a sticky wicket that we're all trying to navigate. And are there any indications for vaccinations, non-vaccination? Where's that?
Yes, I will say this is, of course, going to be, rapidly evolving, ongoing conversation. Yes. And this is, this is a discussion that we've been having. This is a discussion going on across the province. This is a discussion we've been having with Skate Canada. And at this time, we will not be, you have to be very careful with asking people for vaccination status. That is basically what we've been advised. And that's in alignment with Skate Canada, because you have to remember, that's asking people for personal medical information.
Okay.
And that is a very difficult area. That's a very difficult area to go. So we are not recommending that people ask for proof of vaccination. And you'll find that is currently, I say currently, this could change, right? But very rare. And, we even heard the Premier say again today that there will be no industry in Ontario where the government will be endorsing asking for vaccination status. So what we're recommending is what we're currently recommending is in alignment with that.
Okay, that's fair.
I will say, PJ, I think the important thing to remember about vaccination status is vaccinations are only ever one part of a good safety plan.
Yeah.
So, we are here today talking about, while you're skating, being able to take off masks and have contact. That doesn't mean that all the rest of the safety plan items aren't in play.
You know what? What I've been exercising, and I'm somebody who's double vaccinated, I've just been exercising caution in any event. But you know what? During the flu season, I don't want to get the flu either. You know what I mean? Not that COVID can be compared to the flu, but any communicable disease, good health protocols are the way to go, generally speaking. So I don't think that that's any different. There is this wonderful comment that you need to see from Tracy.
Tracy, believe me, I love giving answers that are yes. Yeah.
I mean, how many of these town halls have we done where it's been, well, actually, no, you can't do that. And no, you still can't do that. And no. So this is a yes day. This is a great question coming in from Tara. Any limits on contact during the on-ice session for Synchro?
Yeah. There are not limits. Yeah.
Okay.
It is, the reading the regulations are always a challenge. And, we've talked about this before. They roll out this 86-page monster, that, somebody has said, reads like a choose your own adventure book. Like you read this thing here that says contact is okay, but then it points you at, over here, which then points you over there, so what it all distills down to is, as long as you are doing the actual sport activity, while you are actively doing your training, contact is okay and masks off are okay.
Here is a great question from Keith, who wants to know if there is a plan for adult skaters to return to practice. Most clubs in his area are not allowing adult skaters to come to the rink yet. It would be my statement about that.
Yeah.
Do you have any information for adult skaters, Lisa?
The adult skaters are allowed back on the ice as of tomorrow. There is not a restriction on our end. Our return to play protocols call for a return of every program that includes adults.
Okay, that is absolutely wonderful, wonderful news. So let's talk a little bit about, do you have the particulars on social distancing? Do you have any of the particulars?
Yes. So the biggest thing with social distancing is basically think, am I skating? Am I skating right now? Am I training? Or am I off ice right now? Am I training? Like, am I actively doing my training activity? That is the only time that the masks can come off and the physical distancing does not apply. So coaches, unless they are skating around actively helping, masks on and distancing. While you're moving into and out of the arena, masks on and distancing. So think of it, am I actually skating and training right now? Then the restrictions are lifted. That is the exception to physical distancing and masking.
Okay. This is going to sound like a completely off the wall question. I'm not even sure that you have an answer, but tell me a little bit about the dressing rooms, because skaters up until now have sort of been getting their skates on outside of dressing rooms. Any information on that? That's a PJ question, by the way. That didn't come from me. I'm just curious.
Well, it's one of those things. It's a great question, PJ, because it has been very explicitly in the regulations in the past, right? They were all the way down to that level of detail about the dressing rooms. This time, there's no mention of dressing rooms in the regulations. So that will be something that people will have to discuss with their facility.
Okay.
We still, of course, recommend to keep our perfect track record and to assure all our participants and parents that we are a safe place to be. Of course, we would still recommend that people do, the same as we've been doing. We've been recommending that people come in their skating outfits, leave as much stuff as they can in the car. But people will have to check with their facility for specific directions about dressing rooms.
Now, many of my coaching friends are doing all kinds of different classes in parking lots, off the ice, everywhere else. Are they going to be able to take it indoors, or are they still going to do the off-ice stuff outside? Okay.
Welcome to go indoors. And the same rules apply to off-ice training. So while you're standing there explaining, chatting, walking people through, maybe what the session is about, mask it up and distance. But then once people are actually performing the activity, that is when the exception can come for the mask to be removed.
This is a great question from Carrie. I know we talked about pre-can before and about can skate, but how about as it relates to PAs, not just the coaches, and any other little helpers who are helping out? Where do we stand on that?
Helpers are included in the activity, so they're allowed, and they're allowed to and they are allowed to have contact with the skaters. I would be thinking about the masking, of course, right? Like if the PAs are not actively, if they're not exerting themselves. And when you think about, confidence from the parents and everything, right? It's a consideration to, to keep the masks on if they're not actively participating and, leading the drills and skating, put the masks on.
Yeah, there's no harm in it if they're not really jumping or spinning or doing anything else. If they're just assisting the small children, that would be great. Let's talk about some of the other activities that were part of our normal lives for such a long time. Let's talk assessment days. I said it, AD, the assessment day. What's going on with that?
They're coming. Assessment days are, I'm making sure I have my right date here. Assessment days will be starting again on, come on, Lisa, you can find it, August the 9th. As of August the 9th, people can request assessment days. And we will be taking requests for assessment days all the way through the next year.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
We have a couple of other great questions, and audience out there, you guys are doing a fantastic job with coming up with the great questions. Okay, this one is from Krista Ann, talking about, again, are many of these things dependent on the facility? At her facility, they're not allowed to do off ice in the facility right now. So is it dependent on that?
It is. So, as I said, like the municipality, the health unit, the facility still do have authority to work on those things. The regulations, however, you will not see in our return to play that is not allowed. It is within the regulations that it is allowed.
Okay, terrific. This is one of my coaching buddies that I taught with for a long time. Hey, Marie. She wants to know if the coaches are allowed to go between cohorts and groups on the same day.
Yes. There is no reference in the regulations to that, because there's a general exception that allows sport training. So under the sport training, it's now a little bit different, right? Like some people, and that question may have been related to old information with regards to camps, right?
Yes, it was regard to camps for sure.
Yeah. So now that we are under step 3, sport training is now a different thing again than camps were in the past. So no need to restrict to a cohort.
Okay, I'm going to put out, I'm going to be Debbie Downer for a second. Do you think there's a chance that this is going to go backwards in any way? Tell me what you're honestly thinking. Like, I'm feeling very good about how the numbers are going here in Ontario, and I'm thinking that even if there is some more stuff coming, that it's not going to be as dramatic as what we have faced. So, Lisa, how are you staying on top of the information?
Yeah, I am with you, PJ. I certainly hope that this is, and I think, but the reality is we still, none of us, science tables included, don't know exactly what will happen.
Yeah.
So, the way that we stay on top of the information is, we do have a specific sport consultant with the government.
Okay.
We do have a collective, a PSO sport collective with the other sports who we keep in contact with on a regular basis. And like everybody else, right? Just eyes peeled every day for announcements.
So this is a way of reassuring the parents that regardless of this announcement, it's not like, okay, everybody, we're in step 3, Godspeed. It's the fact that we are paying attention and that you will continue to monitor the situation. It's not over yet, but this is just very good news for all of us.
And I think it's very important too. I would encourage everyone to really read the return to play protocols, because this is not just go ahead and train. There are still other requirements, right? We still have to do the session tracking logs. You still have to do the health checks on the way in. You still have to do the get people to sign waivers, right? Yeah. So all of that is still in place. Yeah.
Okay. Stephanie has an interesting question with regards to coaches. Her public health unit says masking is not mandatory while on the ice. Is that okay for coaches?
It depends on what the coach is doing. If you read the regulations, if you read the regulations, the coaches should be masked unless they are skating. So if they are out following a skater around the ice, or if they are leading drills and they are skating on the ice, like if they are participating in the session, they can take their mask off. If you read the regulations, if they're not doing that, if they are teaching
at the boards,
standing there and teaching at the boards, mask on.
Okay, terrific. Another old coaching buddy of mine, Diana Flynn, coach-driven assessments. Can we proceed with these during lesson time?
Yes, coach assessments are coming back. Let me, again, checking my notes to make sure I give the proper, in person. Oh, so is this, maybe not answering the exact question, but talking about people who want to become coach assessors, right? Because, that was a new concept that was rolled out and then very unceremoniously stopped before most people were able to get certified when COVID got started. So we are preparing to arrange co-evaluations and mentored assessments. Those will be starting in the fall. So information coming out to candidates, and will also be posted in the officials and evaluator section of the Skate Ontario website. So you can look for that there.
And our website, again, is skateontario.org. For more information on Return to Skate, you can contact Club Support Services at skateontario.org. Another couple of great questions. So thank you for that. Thank you for all your questions, everybody. This one, it's the same question from Denise about competitions coming back, and Michelle. Singles, synchro, what's happening on the competition front?
They are, we're planning right now. We're planning right now. We are, keep an eye out for communication from the events team. They have already started to send out some pieces of information. So it depends on which level of skating we're talking about, because, we have the sectional series, super series, Star 1 to 4 series, and Synchro series. There are plans for all of those to return.
Okay.
There will be more of a gradual return, some different formats that we're starting really right away for the sectional series athletes, because, they need to get to sectionals and nationals. So, some of those events will be starting in hub formats or with remote officiating. But there is definitely, we have a roadmap of a return to full competitions for all of those series.
But it's not going to happen in the next 20 minutes, people. So we have to be patient. We have to be patient. Christiane has another question about coaching courses. They have a few skaters at their club interested in taking the Can Skate course. Are we there yet, or are we just trying to get humans on the ice?
You know what? I know we have some in the works. I know that, Amanda is busily looking for venue right now, because before we were in step 3, it was very difficult for her to be able to book spaces for those courses. Yeah. I can tell you that she is very actively looking for those courses. So again, I would keep looking for information about that. We definitely plan to do coaching courses.
I mean, let's face it. This has got success written all over it in terms of, if there are young people who want to become Can Skate coaches, that's fantastic. Diana meant the Star 1 to 5 assessments with coaches, and actually Nora was following up on that question for that you mentioned earlier, which is the training session for people wanting to become an assessor.
Yes. The answer to that is yes.
We've got tons of courses coming up, tons of courses, and they're all posted in our newsfeed, right? Yeah. So in our newsfeed, and many of you will have already received a communication via email that outlines things, and you can also just ask the question, and we will try and get the information to you. More information on Return to Skate. Contact Club Support Services at skateontario.org. You can also reach out to us on social media, and just look for Skate Ontario. We are at Skate Ontario on Twitter and Instagram. Look for Skate Ontario at Facebook and on YouTube. And of course, you'll be able to re-watch this particular session, which will stay on YouTube and on Facebook. So make sure you tell all of your friends, So as an executive director who's had to live through the last 18 months, when we really did the unthinkable, I mean, we didn't think for 5 seconds that we would be closed down, much less Worlds in 2020 canceled, much less like all of the craziness that's gone on. How does it feel for you today? What are you thinking about for your sport?
I am just so excited for the opportunity to get skaters back on the ice. I think all of us have seen and some people may have seen it, like a new study came out from Sick Kids this week on the impact that this has had on the health of children. And so the fact that we are able to, that we're able to get going again and with such a positive activity, help our communities, help our kids. Like I'm really excited about it. And, believe me, I anticipate these next few months, like when we figure all of this out and which, what rinks are open and how do we get them and, changing regulations. I know that it's going to have its frustrations, but boy, am I happy that the frustrations are about the return of skating rather than the close of skating.
Carrie's got a question, and it's just, I'm sure, to just confirm, parent taught. Will they be able to have parent taught again? Now that's a real hands-on kind of class. I've taught the parents and tots before, and that's just for the parents. I'm not even talking about the tots. But can we get the parents and tot sessions back on the ice?
Yes. They all levels. Yeah, all levels of Can't Skate are allowed. And for people who have specific questions, like you can tell, I don't have the perfect, some of these questions that are very specific. Yep. I would just reiterate again the club support services email. That we have the people there who have those real finer details that I'm not able to share perfectly. That is definitely the email address to use, and they can help you with those specific questions.
So how are you feeling? Let's look forward in our particular calendar. I mean, we've got some big events coming up. Yeah. Do you anticipate that we're going to be able to get to some or most of them? I'm talking about sectionals. I'm talking about, synchro competitions that happen early in the year. People may or may not have noticed that the calendar for competitions for Skate Canada has changed. Not this season, but next, I believe. Is that right? Yeah. And also we've got, of course, our provincial championships that we haven't had for a while.
I know.
So, how do you feel? And we, of course, want to get back streaming our competitions as well. There's lots going on. So let's talk big strokes. If everything stays in step 3, let's say, and goes no further, are we able to host or have any of those events?
We certainly are. Okay. It is absolutely at this time within our plans to, as I said, like gradual return on event formats to, more and more people on site. But, our current plan is that sectionals will be, full on in person. And, we got amazing events coming up in Ontario in 2022 that we will be moving towards, right? We've got nationals in January in Ottawa. We have Synchro Worlds. I'm so excited. Yeah. Coming up in Hamilton. And as you said, the provincial championships, you talked about it. Whoever would have imagined? I mean, I remember making that decision to cancel the first one. It seemed inconceivable. I can't believe that we've missed 2. I just can't, so excited that we'll be able to host that again.
I can't either. So Jackie Williams wants to know if we know when there might be a calendar of events and dates for Synchro. Yes. Do we still have to wait a little bit longer just to sort of let the ink dry?
I would say look for the Synchro events are planned. And I hesitate to commit to the exact date, but look for communications from the events team. It is 100% our current plan that there will be there's a synchro season on the way.
That is fantastic. Well, you know what? Everybody has given us such great questions and such positive energy tonight. We're going to end on this comment from Roxy Denyo. Thank you, Skate Ontario, for always being there, supporting all our skating community throughout this past year and a half. I want to say thank you to Roxy and everybody else in the audience for being so patient, because this has not been easy. Yeah. Lisa, I want to say one other thing, and that is that the interest in skating is coming back. We have been able to welcome 2 new glide partners in addition to our champion sponsors who have just stuck through us, Merit Travel, Scarborough Nissan, and the National Bank. And we've just welcomed the Rotation Room and Park Street Education. So there'll be lots more about those 2 glide partners. Anybody who wants glide partnership information, just contact me, PJ Kwong at skateontario.org. You get to have that last word, Lisa. That's the kind of girl I am today.
I want to say 2 words. First, I really want to thank you again, PJ, for doing this. I know that, sometimes these announcements feel a little slow, but wading through all of this wading through all the information. And, we do this to make sure that our coaches and our clubs are protected, that we have such a great reputation with our programs. We want to make sure that we have all the correct information. And that means that you, PJ, have, as always, just been incredibly flexible to do this session with us. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And for in case anybody didn't know, PJ's on her way out the door to Tokyo, to the Olympics, as and aren't they lucky to have you? So it's even more that we really appreciate you doing this for us today.
Do you know what's so much fun? I love it. I love doing it, and I love bringing the good news. And I love, what, Lisa, what's better than being able to compulsively communicate to our audience and our Skate Ontario family? I think it's great.
That's right. And you've been here through all the tougher announcements. Be here for the good one.
Right. And, this is the woo-woo one. This is the woo-woo one. Anyway, Lisa, any news, anything that you want to just say to the skaters and to the coaches and to the officials and to the parents as I want to say chin up, but what do you want to say?
Yeah, I just say like this is like, let's celebrate today. Ontario is doing well. I could not be more excited to bring back all of our stakeholder groups. We may still have some upcoming bumps in the road, but we are now moving forward. Please continue to stay in contact. I can tell you, I think we're going to need to keep being nimble here, but so excited that we're now moving forward. So excited.
And I just want to say that just because the pandemic is doing better does not mean that we won't be doing more town halls, people. So you're not off the hook. You're still going to have to bring comments and questions. And Lisa, you're still going to have to show up. Sorry, it's just the way it is.
Anytime I'm doing it with you, PJ, it's all good.
Lisa, thank you so much for joining me. Everybody, just have a wonderful summer. This has been fantastic. Your comments are great. And thank you so much for all of your hard work and for all of your patience and for everything. We love you from Skate Ontario. Bye for now.